Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know what time it is. I'm Jay, aka the Moderate Texan. Over there is Matt, Money Matt Mar. We are back. It's what, 8 days to draft time or something like that?
We're
And
7 days. It's exactly a week away.
you're right, it's 7 days to draft time, and it's a great day. But you know what day it really is? It's 420, bro. It's 420. It's a great day. It's a great day. I do not condone that. I don't do it, so it's cool. But it's a good day because crazy people are out and they make crazy sayings. So, welcome everybody who's here. It's happy to have you here. You guys know what's gonna happen today. Let me stop my phone before it goes off on me here. There's emergency alerts going on in my area because it is raining real hard. So hopefully I don't lose power or anything like that. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. I'll be here as long as I can. So today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we do all that, I wanna, we've introduced each other. Matt, how you been, man?
I've been, all this draft craziness going on. My head's been in a complete whirlwind. I have no idea what's happening, but I just want the draft to come and go, and yeah.
Facts, indeed. I want it to be over with so that we can just see where we sit and talk about what's to come for the season. Tired of this. What are the Texans gonna do? How bad is it gonna look? Or blah, blah. No, just let us be done. Let's be done with that. As you know, below me, I've got all the information regarding all our social media below. That is Jordan's Twitter. That is Texans Thoughts. That is my Twitter, my YouTube channel. That's Matt's Twitter. That's Ryan's Twitter. We got it all. Go ahead, hit us up, talk with us. We're more than willing to talk with you on Twitter. Follow us. It's good. We're always willing to talk with you and chat with you. What's up, Eden? Good to see you. Nova, I know who you are, man. I remember you from the Discord. Let's talk more about software engineering later. I got your back on that. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know today what you want us to talk about next week. I know I'm going to be talking about trying to get this weekend going. I'm going to talk about Levis. I'm going to get his film going. And I also plan on looking at AR-15 stuff before the draft, probably Tuesday before I head out to Houston and work from down there for a bit. And as always,
I will stuff really quick then, because we only got a week and we only
got a week. So I guess no, we're going to be doing it Saturday and we're going to be doing it Tuesday, or at least I will be. I'll knock it out. We'll be definitely looking at film. I'll probably after this get off and start looking at Levis film. I know Matt, you've already jumped on that a bit, so I'll be trusting you some on that.
Not nothing crazy, but you're the expert, so I've just been kind of looking and crying a little bit, but
yeah. And then we'll look at AR stuff and see what we can get. As we go through these film reviews, I don't want you guys to think that we're pushing you guys in one direction or the other. What we want to show you guys is this is what these people bring to the table. This is what they do good. This is what they do bad. All right. So if you guys want to see additional players, let us know. Obviously, we can only get to so many before the draft. It's a lot of film to watch. But yeah, let us know. We'll try and break down a player that you want to see.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Before we jump into this, I know I'm full Bryce Young. I know Jay is full Bryce Young, but I feel like we should, before we even jump into any film, say obviously Bryce is our dream guy, so we don't have to say that one. But the guy we want most after Bryce, our gut feeling, and then worst possible case scenario.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that at the end. We'll kind of get that going. What's up, Beige? Good to see you, my guy.
Beige.
Good to see you. So before we jump in, let me like I say here, and I always like to ask this question: if there's anything you guys want me to pray for, go ahead and put that in the chat. Put it in the comments. Message me directly. Some of you guys have my number. Text me, call me, whatever you guys need to do. Email me at themoderatetexan@gmail.com. It's always good. Feel free. All right. have this section. It is called a quick side note. Today's subject, I really wanted to talk about this because I'm feeling it myself, is about taking a break. I know all of us as fans of the Texans are tired of all of the ridiculousness going on right now. We don't want to be dealing with all this, the drama, all the mumbo jumbo that's out there. Yeah, it's garbage, right? Nobody likes it, but there's got to be some balance. I know some people who have gone through it and they're still going through it. Make sure you have that balance. Make sure you get away. Know when to step away. I know I'm at work. I'm starting to get a little burnt out on my own work. And I know other people have been dealing with this as well. Know when to take a break. Know how long to step away for. It doesn't have to be long. It could be a day. It could be 2 days. It could be a weekend. Just know when to step away, and also learn to let go. You can step away and not let go. Matt, how many times at work have you felt like, man, I really hate all these people, and then you go away for a weekend and you come back and you're like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. I just needed a little bit of a break.
Do I have to give an honest answer?
Sure, give your honest answer.
Honest answer? I better not.
The reality is sometimes that's going to be the case, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes you need a little bit longer. For instance, when you guys came down here, you and your buddy came down to Houston and you went to the game. Going back to work probably sucked a bit.
Oh, it was awful.
But it's not like you had all that hatred and all the, not even hatred, but the dislike for people as much. It probably faded faster than you think. I'm willing to bet. I know for me, if I take a break, I can have a bunch of pent up, like, man, I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing whatever. And then I come back and I'm like, you know what? I'm cool.
I'll just put it like this. I was mad the second I got back just because the food wasn't as good.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. But for most of us, especially those who don't work in the restaurant business or who don't work in customer service, it can be it's
Draining.
a necessary need. It is draining, and all work is draining. All stresses are draining. Sometimes you just need to know when to step away. You gotta let go. And the last bit that I always like to kind of remind people is your family comes first. Those who are around you, your family, your friends, your connections, that comes first. Never forget them. Don't put them aside because you wanna to grow. But yeah. My man Beige, pray for the rain to be lesser here, because if it rains too bad here, I might lose power, which means the stream ends abruptly, and there's nothing I can do about it.
It's raining everywhere. It's raining there. It's raining in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's raining in Illinois. Like,
Yeah, it's
where is
just
it not
raining.
raining.
This is a flood event here. We got biblical level stuff going on. All right, that's my bit about a quick side note. Let's get into the good stuff. Now, before we start, again, like Matt said, both of us are for Bryce Young. That's our number one pick. We want Bryce Young.
Eden. No.
That's just who we want. This is terrible. Eden, just leave that alone.
Eden, the window.
Yeah, just that. Remember that time when we had a window with Jordan? Yeah, you got it. Get the window, bro.
Bounce.
No window. We know everybody really knows that the Texans want we want Bryce Young. The Texans want him. Every team who needs a quarterback wants him. Only one team can get him though. We think it's gonna be Carolina. Could be not. It's whatever. It is what it is, right? But if I don't get the chance to get Bryce, I want to know what I'm getting with these other quarterbacks. And that's kind of the purpose of these film reviews, right? So let's kind of take a look. Let's get started. At the end of this, I hope you get somewhat of a clear picture as to what I saw. We have 10 plays for you guys regarding all the stuff here. And we'll see what's going on. So let me remove that little banner there. We're in the film review session. All right. So This is a play, as you can see from the Ohio State versus Notre Dame last year. Let's kind of take a look at this play. And we'll let this kind of just keep playing, but I'll let you guys watch it first and see if you guys can see what I see. Now, Matt, I know we've watched this play, but initially when you were watching this play, what did you see?
I saw the first time I watched the play, obviously I saw the collapsing pocket, and at first I didn't think any of the wide receivers got open, and that's why CJ didn't try to make a play. But we watch it from this angle, and there's future Texans tight end one, wide receiver one, Jackson Smith and Jigba on an island. And the only problem is, I don't know whether CJ hesitates or doesn't believe he can make that throw. But by the time he wanted to, it was too late. Number 56 had already beat his man, and the running back was in CJ's lap, and it was a bad sack.
Yeah, it is a bad sack. I wholeheartedly agree. And the reason is because if this is the NFL, this ball should be out. He's pumped. He's ready to go. That ball should be on a beeline to, I think that's the 30-yard line there. It should be on a beeline to the 30. Jackson Smith and Jigba should be turning his head around eventually, and that ball should be in his hands. That ball should have been out half a second ago. It should have been ready. You should see his hand back like this to throw the ball. Instead, he's waiting for everything to come wide open, right? And that's an issue. Right? You want him to throw that with anticipation, and you want him to be able to dissect, right? So let's kind of go back a bit because I kind of want y'all to see what Stroud is looking at and where he's going. So he starts over here at the tight end. He's got a Bukum right here, and then he's going to JSN. So we can see he starts over here, sees that that's not a good one. Then he's looking here at 12, right? Or 2 at Bukum. And then his next read is here at 11. He's got JSN right there. He's already looking. But because he sees this guy in the throwing lane, he doesn't want to throw that.
And by the looks of this frame right here is like he's got his back foot set. It looks like he's just waiting for that right foot to come down, and he's got the ball in position ready to go.
Exactly.
But that's where I get it looks like he hesitated, or exactly, he pulled a Mills.
Exactly. Great stuff, Nova. He does pull a Mills. This is exactly what people are kind of seeing, right? And why I'll say that there's only maybe 2 or 3 S-tier players in this draft, one of which is Bryce Young. Maybe the other one is CJ Stroud. Not CJ Stroud. The other one is Bijan Robinson. I don't know who the other one is. Maybe Will Anderson. Not really going to put him up there. I think he's A+. But after that, it's CJ Stroud, it's Will Anderson, it's all the other top tier players, and then it goes to that A tier and the A-, and so on and so forth. Here, this ball should have been out. That's an NFL level throw. And it kind of alludes back to the S2 score that we've heard so much about. That processing time just isn't there. What's up, Alpha? No male model contest here, just a dude whose AC needs to turn on and a rainy day. And of course, Matt, the actual male model.
Stop it right now. Get
all
out
right.
of here with that junk.
So we can kind of see as we start on this play, there was an opening. This was an easy play, but his processing time, I don't know if he was nervous. I don't know if he felt pressure. I don't know if he just wanted it to be more open and he was practicing standing in the pocket and he didn't want to get a pick. But this ball should have been at the 30, and we know he's got the ability to just drop dimes where he wants to. Why he didn't throw this, I don't know.
Maybe
it is what it is.
Like looking at the frame more, it looks like the safety up here has already started to make a break on JSN, so I don't know if he was worried about the interception or getting his receiver lit up. But if that's what you're worried about, throw the ball away. Don't take the sack.
Exactly. Let's get this next clip in and loaded. All right, so let me get a little bit more view here. So this next play, I really like it, and I like what he's done here. Oh, a little bit of a funky bit there. Start that over so we can see it. And right off the bat, we can see that he's getting flushed out. On the run, he makes an excellent throw, and 3 makes an excellent catch. That's a fantastic catch on the sideline. We'll see that a little bit later. But he made this play a bit harder, and I'll talk about why here in a second. So this kind of turns into a cover 1. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw it, but and look at this catch. That's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal catch. So what I initially saw off of this play was this is a wheel route. The running back takes the linebacker, and the linebacker 52 is considerably slower than number 3. And he just takes him easily. And you'll see why I say this in a minute. Let's look. Everybody has been pulled out, and 3 is already pretty much even with 42 in this run. This ball should be look, he's already beyond him. What is something we always say, Matt, about if he's even? What happens?
Going back to prime Texan stuff, if he's even, he's leaving.
Exactly. If he's even, he's leaving, and by God, he's already leaving. This ball should be on the 35 to 40, and that ball should be on a float. Already. Nobody's in his face. That ball should be going there. But Stroud is taking his time. He's not looking there. He's not processing things as fast as he needs to. Now, does he make a great throw at the end here?
Absolutely.
Yes. Is it on the run and it's beautiful? Yes. But by golly, man, you got to make the right throw here. And the right throw is an easy throw in the NFL is to just nice little floater. Nice little floater. Now, these next plays are going to be a little not cutting on them, but they are going to point some stuff out about Stroud. Let's take a look here. Let me make this a bit bigger. And we'll start this over. Move ahead here. All right. Ooh, ugly. Now we're going to watch both of these plays, and these are back-to-back plays. Ugh. What'd you see there, Matt?
I've seen bad overthrows and just bad reads, period.
Yeah. I see an overthrow here that is because of pressure. There's pressure here. Look, he doesn't have the ball out yet. This guy is in his face. And he throws this ball with pace, but wildly overthrows his receiver. And then here, this is the very next play. Because that play before, look, this is in the first half, at the end of the first half. Keep in mind they're up 31-7 already, so they're beating the brakes off.
They're not going to lose this game.
But this is things that you need to look at, right? He needs to be playing the same consistently throughout the game. So he overthrows, safety makes a great play, and then the very next play, he stares down his receiver. So, yeah, you like him. So Nova's saying he likes Stroud, but seems to have the same problems as Mills, overthinking and not going through his reads fast enough. We'll get to this at the end, but I disagree that, yes, he has some of the same problems as Mills, but he's better.
Timeout 30, I have a quick thing to add on to this. So looking at this game, it got me a little curious because the Notre Dame game was their first game of the season. So not bad what we've seen from first game. The next 2 games was against Arkansas State and Toledo. So those 2 throws that you see right here, throws that you could probably get away with against those smaller schools, against not as good competition. But then you get thrown right back into the fire against an okay Wisconsin team. Like, they're a lot better than Arkansas State and Toledo. So, like, it's just, I don't know how ready he was for the game because he goes, "Oh, I just had 2 easy games. So like, what's the difference in this game too?" So I don't think he came out fully ready.
Yeah, and it could have
Which they're
been
up
that
31-7, so you could easily be like, "Oh, if he was like that can't be the case." But I mean, he's had it pretty easy so far. So
yeah, and we can see what he sees here, right? He's got this guy winning here. So he's throwing this pass. Now, he's throwing it to the wrong person in reality. He's throwing it here to the outside. And I don't think that really had a good chance of doing what it needed to do. He should have probably thrown it here. He probably would have got away with this, as Matt says. He probably would have gotten away with that against a Toledo and an Arkansas State. But not against another Big Ten player in Wisconsin. Right? That ball, that's not a ball you should be throwing, CJ. So, yes, we can see off of these first 4 plays that CJ Stroud is not infallible, right? He does make mistakes, and his ball placement can be great. He can make great plays, but there are some concerns that are there that we need to discuss. So let's kind of move on to the next play. Let me grab that for you guys and drop it in. Make this get a little bit bigger here. All right. So this throw is not a bad throw. And here's why. I like what you say here, Eden, that these are bad throws, but in the end, all of this is coachable and experience will fix those issues in the NFL. But this throw right here shows you that he has the ability to make elite throws in the NFL. This is a play on seam to a tight end. If this is Dalton Schultz, he's got this ball and he's still running. Like, at least it's a 15-yard gain. Here, the tight end bobbles it and doesn't catch it, right? So this is what you expect to see, right? This kind of throw, this kind of vision. He turns, he looks, he scans the field, he sees an open target, and the target just drops the ball, right? So, and this is on 4th and 2 as well. This should have been a first down, easy. I do agree he does have some mad potential. I don't think and we'll talk about where I think he'll be in the end here in a bit, but this is where we can start to see, right? This is 11-0. So this is later in the season. This is against 2 undefeated teams to win the Big Ten, right? At this point, Stroud was 12 for 14 for 85 yards and a touchdown. He's playing pretty well, and he's dicing up an elite defense. And unfortunately, this ball is dropped on a 4th and 2. It is what it is. All right, let's get to the next play. This is also against Michigan, but unfortunately,
it's not a good play.
So we'll make this a bit bigger here. All right. Matt, I'll let you break this down. What do you see here?
I see. Well, first off, I'm going to look at the clock here. Late in the 4th quarter, it's pretty close ball game.
It's a 14-point game.
I mean, still 2-possession game. Like, you got 4 minutes, 27 seconds left. So, CJ Stroud is going to try to play hero ball here, but he doesn't know whether to commit to the run or if he should dump the ball off to, who was that, number 8? No.
10, number 10.
Number 10, yeah, number 10. He doesn't know whether he's going to take off with it or dump the ball to number 10. So we had number 26, I think, here down on a block with Paris Johnson. And he was able to wrap up the legs of CJ. CJ says, "Oh, crap, I need to try to get this ball off." But by that time, it's already too late. And that was a costly interception, which was an ugly one.
Exactly. And Eden, you're right on the money. It's a horrible play, right? Trying to do too much to keep his team in the game. And this is where we kind of talk about that S2 score, right? That everybody's kind of talking about. When we see this play from the other angle here, Stroud has an option. And we'll pause here. Boom. Stroud has the option. Do I dump this off to number 10 or do I run? Right? If he's going to run, he needs to commit to it and run now because Paris Johnson has this guy locked up and no one else is available. Everyone else is out of this play. 10 can turn and start his blocking and CJ maybe gets to the 5, right? Or he dumps it to 10. He, in fact, does neither, right? He does all too late. If he decides to right now, 10 still has 5 yards of space where he can run. But he doesn't do that. He waits again, gets caught up, and tosses this terrible ball, right? And when we see it from this angle, it's even worse, right? So, boom. Look, if he runs now, these guys maybe catch him at, what, 12? 10 maybe? If he tosses it now, he's faster. He can turn and make it to the 8. Maybe get a first down. But good grief, man! Look at this. Like he could have gone. He could have gone some yards here. This could get blocked up, but it doesn't happen. And that's part of the problem that part of the development of CJ is he's got to get quicker at reading things. And I think if you make the offense as simple as possible, not Bill O'Brien, not Tim Kelly, more of Pep stuff, because Pep stuff was easier. It's just Davis Mills couldn't execute. This would make it a little easier. And even still, this is pretty easy, right? 2's over here available, 10's right here, ready to receive the pass. These are things that CJ has to be able to make off the bat. All right. Let's move on to another Michigan-based team, another game. Oh, dang it. I keep doing this. Hold 1 second here as I bring this up. All right. I figured that's going to happen. All right. So, as we move into the next play, this one's against Michigan State. I don't really know what. So this one's earlier in the season. So we kind of go back in time, right? We're at game 5 or game 6 in the season here. Did it just mess up my play here? It is what it is. We'll go back a bit. Yeah, for some reason it messed my play up and it's kept going. All right, so this play is a nice roll out and throw right on the money. This is something we did not see Davis Mills do a lot in the season. He would roll out, but his throws would often be inaccurate, especially close. But here we see CJ Stroud, even though the ball wobbles a bit, we don't know what caused it. It is Michigan, right? It is Ohio, right? It's colder up there. Could have been the wind. It could have been anything. We don't know. But he makes a good throw. The ball's wobbly a bit, but it's still caught by Abukum, and it's great. It is. It's a great dot on the run. He puts it right on the money, and he's still running. In the NFL, that's perfection. That's exactly what we're looking for. This
and wait till you see some of the throws we have queued up for later.
Exactly. This is phenomenal. This is what we wanted to see from CJ Stroud. Now, what I will say about this play is a lot of people said that in the Georgia game, CJ Stroud was a completely different quarterback. We were seeing nothing of what we saw of CJ Stroud in the regular season. But he was doing this, and he did it in the Notre Dame game, and he did it in other games as well. He was doing it all year. He just did a little bit more against Georgia. He was doing the same stuff. They just couldn't stop it. So let's move on to the next play. Let's kind of get through this. All right. Look at that. Look at that throw, y'all. Look at that throw. Time in the pocket, sets his feet quickly. Dot. Now, one of the things that we don't see Davis Mills do, and Matt and I talked about this pretty well, is we don't see Davis Mills put the ball in the right spot. Now, Matt, when you saw this play, where did this ball need to go?
It needed to go to the outside shoulder.
And why did it need to go to the outside shoulder?
Because that was the only spot that the receiver could get it.
Well, not only that, So when I pause this play, you'll see why really big. Both of these guys have inside leverage. Right? If he puts this ball inside, it's interceptable here and it's able to be batted down here, right? We don't want that. So he needs to put the ball somewhere around the numbers. He needs to put it around the 50. And where does he put it? On the 50. Exactly where he needs to put it. This is something we didn't see from Mills. We didn't see this a lot from Mills. Keep in mind, this is the 10th game of the season. So this is right before, 2 games before we get to that Michigan game. He's starting to heat up. He's doing this against better competition. He's starting to get a lot better, and he's making these good throws. This is what we wanted to see. This is what we need to see from CJ Stroud. Anything else you got on this play before we move on to the next one, Matt?
Nope.
All right, let's move on. Let's get to the next play. Oh no! Went to the wrong play. There we go. Or put it in an extra period. All right, so we have made it to the Georgia game, the championship game.
Oh, not the championship game, but
it would have been. Whoever wins,
it should have been the championship game.
It should have been the championship game because this game was phenomenal, right? So I call this the championship game because this was the best game of the playoffs by far. It wasn't close. Texan shots, welcome, man. Ball placement, yeah, like we saw at the combine. It's like we saw all year. His ball placement was elite. It was legendary. Peace out, Eden. We'll see you in the Discord, man. All right. So let's look at this play. First and foremost, this looks like cover 2. Possibly cover 2 man here. Maybe a little bit of zone because, look, everybody's manned up. We got this over here. We got this guy here. And it looks like cover 2 man. You see this? It looks like a Tampa 2 in the end, right? It starts to kind of go to that Tampa 2. Let's look at this play. So Paris Johnson starts getting got on, but it doesn't matter. As The Rock says, it doesn't matter because, by God, he rolls out of the pocket, throws on the run, just like we saw 2 plays ago against Michigan State, and throws a dot to Marvin Harrison Jr. after directing traffic. Look at this. Paris Johnson is getting handled back here. His other tackle is getting handled. He's got a man approaching in his face, and he just makes this throw.
You know who really didn't get handled on the offensive line this game?
Luke Weipler, though.
Future Texan center, Lucas Weipler.
Look at that. Look at this, though. Look at that beautiful throw. That's what you want to see. Great placement. Absolutely correct, Nova. Great placement. Great placement, great throw. The only knock is the pace of the throw, right? That's the only knock that we can say against him, is that he doesn't have that full pace that we're used to seeing, right? So that's the only thing I'll say against it, but still, it's on the other hash. Well, it was on the other hash. He moved across the field, but he does throw this across his body, and he throws it on the run. That's what you're looking for.
And number 22 was coming down on him.
That's true. Absolutely. He had a man in his face. He had pressure. This is the first time we see him deal with pressure really, really well. All right, let's look at this last play here. And then we'll go from there. And then we'll kind of start to kind of recap. All right. So this next play is another beautiful play. And I'm sorry that this happened on your Bulldogs, Matt, but I'll let you take it away. What do you see here?
Deshaun Watson magic.
Absolutely. This was an amazing play. What's up, Willie? Good to see you, man. We hope you're doing well.
Better late than never. It's all right.
It's true. It is better late than never. I do like what you're saying here, Texan shots. Yeah, Nico would absolutely love Stroud. I think pretty much every wide receiver on the team would love him. Because Stroud's ball placement is phenomenal, right?
And
but here's what I really need you. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this real quick to touch on Texan Stroud's comment. It's criminal. It would be happening this late in Nico's career, but he would finally have a legit well, obviously his rookie year, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But if he can at least reach somewhat of his potential, it's criminal. Nico just now be getting a legit QB.
Exactly. He's now getting a franchise quarterback, right? It's too late for that. Like, he should have had it a long time ago.
Like, Nico still has time, but I don't think he can fully solidify himself to be like a top tier wide receiver 1. So like he'd be like a low tier wide receiver 1, top tier wide receiver 2.
Yeah. Good to see you, Nova. I'll see you in the Discord as well. Thanks for coming through, man. We'll talk later. Yeah. So here's another thing that I really wanted to show you guys. The placement on this ball is phenomenal. We don't get to see the dap up, which was elite level dap up, but Stroud's strength, his ability to place this over defenders. Keep in mind, this is a NFL defense in Georgia, and he just makes it look simple.
But we all know how the game ended.
Yeah, we know how the game ended. Stroud still played extremely well in this game. I cannot put the game on his shoulders. Nobody was stopping anybody this game. This catch is again phenomenal. Only Harrison can get this ball. But I need you to see it from the other angle, from this angle. And here's why. Right over Starks' hand. Look at that. He puts it over Starks and into the breadbasket of Marvin Harrison Jr., who absolutely roasted Keely Ringo. That is, and I like Ringo a lot. Phenomenal play. Phenomenal play. This is what we're looking for from Stroud all the time. If he can consistently play like that, I have no fear drafting him. Absolutely none.
And his ability to get out of that pocket was incredible.
Exactly. But there is one player that I definitely want to highlight, and we'll kind of get into what needs to happen after this play. There is one player I definitely want to highlight. Look at this. This is your center, Luke Weipler, manhandling defensive tackles. Just does it.
But then, like, at the end of this clip, we see future Texans backup quarterback Stetson Bennett.
Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that.
Yes, I am.
Stetson Bennett is Johnny Manziel 2.0.
Stop.
He's a winner. So is Johnny Manziel.
Is a winner.
So is Johnny Manziel. Look at that throw, y'all. Look at that throw. All right, let's go ahead and let's stop the film looking. Yes, Stroud, put him on a poster. He's a great player. Really like him, but he does have some things that he does wrong, right? And a lot of that is the decision-making speed. He also has to deal with not having the strongest arm. We did look this up. He had in the combine, he threw 59 miles an hour on his velocity, which is pretty fast. But yeah, he's not the greatest arm talent. He was being beaten by what's it, DTF, right? Donovan Tardif, can't remember the F part of his last name. The guy from UCLA and Anthony Richardson, who both outpaced him pretty easily. So yeah, it is what it is. I think we're going to be more of the Houston Crimson Tide, but it is what it is, man. I think both coach and player like the Crimson Tide there a little bit too much. Coach and Nick, right? I think Cat and Nick both like him a bit like that school too much. All right. Before we jump into our final thoughts on what we saw, do you guys have any questions? Anything that you guys kind of wanted us to talk about? Anything before we kind of jump into our stuff? Anything that you guys wanted us to go through? If not, we'll kind of talk about some other things. Stroud has his flaws. Still can Gerard Johnson have enough QB coaching acumen to get him where he needs. I agree with this. I absolutely agree with this, and I think this comment kind of leads us into kind of the next point. But let's answer this question first. Where do you think we go with pick 33? Matt, I'll let you take that one to start.
Me personally, I think 33 all depends on who's rising and who's falling, and not to mention who we pick at 12, because I can see a realistic scenario where the Texans trade up from 33 back into the first, kind of like what the Jets did last year, pick high in the second, somewhere around, or pick second, fourth overall, somewhere around the middle of the first, and then Jermaine Johnson started falling. So they was like, there's an edge rush we have to have, and so they traded back up in the first and was able to get him. So is there a player that the Texans could like late in the first that they want to make sure they get a 5-year deal on? I don't know, but assuming we stay at 33, I like either BJ Ojulari. Did I say that right? Yep. And then maybe Will McDonald.
I like the idea of, and I think this leads perfectly into like what our draft strategy should be with CJ Stroud. So let's kind of be honest here. Like we said, our initial picks, if we had our choice of who we want, I would take Bryce Young, right? And if we have Bryce Young, it doesn't matter what we do at 12, at 33, and every other pick after that. I think we just take BPA. Because at that point, it's just getting the best picks around Bryce. Bryce can make it work with who he has around him. I think he's the better quarterback. I think he's the S tier here. He's kind of that. I'm not going to say he's Trevor Lawrence, but he's there. Like, he's pretty dang good, right? But with Stroud, you have to have a legitimate strategy. With Stroud, I think in the first 5 picks, not in the first 3, your first 3 picks, in the first 5, in your first 5 picks, I think you need to take, obviously, CJ Stroud, right? I think that should be at 2. I think at 12, you should take Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then somewhere between 33, what picks do we have? Let me see. Let me see what numbers we have. Right. Start saying stupid stuff here. So we have 2, 12, 33, 65, and 73. In those picks, somewhere in there, I think it's 65 or 73, or if you got to trade up to get a little earlier, I think you need to take Luke Weipler, center out of Ohio State. And the reason is I think you want to make things as easy as possible for CJ. You want the same person he had for 2+ years snapping him the ball. You want him to continue to snap him the ball, so it makes it easier for him and continue to block for him. He knows what CJ is going to do. He's going to be able to help out as much as possible. You want JSN because that's the person he's relied on the most for the last 2 years to throw the ball to. Get him JSN. And that should help you. At 33, to answer your question, though, Texan Shots, I like BJ Ojulari. I think he's a great pickup. I also like the idea of McDonald. I think you got to go defensive line, though. I think you got to go edge somewhere. So BJ Ojulari, Will McDonald, you got to get something there. I think you got to do that ASAP. If the Chiefs take him, it's fine. BJ Ojulari should be there. Also, don't forget you have from Baylor, if he's still there. What was that?
Or, yeah, you'd have Sika from Baylor, and then you'd have Felix from Kansas State.
Yeah, exactly. Reasonable CB. Was it like Travarius Hodges-Tomlinson from TCU, I think is where he's at, right?
Yep.
I think that's probably a good, reasonable CB that you could get probably in the 4th round, maybe late 3rd, to pair with Stingley. I think, though, our secondary is pretty good. I don't know if you want to mess too much with it besides safety. Maybe somewhere in the draft, third somewhere. You get Brian. Is it Branch? Brian Branch? The other Branch.
Brian Branch from Alabama.
Branch. I think you want to grab him, or you want to grab what's the other one? They had Brian Branch, and they had that other safety. Jordan Battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you want to grab one of those two if they're still available. I think that's probably your best bet.
Sidney Brown from Illinois would probably be a good option.
Yeah.
Brandon Joseph, he didn't come out last year. He went back to Notre Dame, so he's still there. And then probably personally I think is the hardest hitting safety in this year's class, if you wanted to really add some pop to your defense, would be J.L. Skinner from Boise State. That man packs a hard punch.
That's just having two Petries on your team there. I mean, or really, I think he's a little bit bigger than Petrie.
He's bigger than Petrie.
You could have him play kind of a smaller. What's that dude from the Legion of Boom? Their
Cam
other
Chancellor?
safety. Like, you could have him play your Cam Chancellor role and just blow someone's life up. Keen on Brents. I'm not.
Julius Brents. He's a 6'4" corner from, I want to say, Kansas State, if I'm not wrong.
6'4" corner sounds good. What's his speed?
I think he ran a 4.5 40 or something like that.
So you'd have him as a CB2?
Yeah,
you're not going to put him up against the burner.
Yeah, he wouldn't be on your burner, but he for sure would be an excellent pairing with Stingley, and because he's got such prototypical size and what most teams are going to now, look at the Jets with Sauce Gardner. My only problem is he's definitely going to be maybe a late first, early second pick, and I don't think the Texans are going to want to commit to the secondary that early when it's already the strongest point in our defense. So we're going to look to draft. I don't want to say draft need because, so 4, 5, 3, 40, and then a 1.5 yard 10 yard split. But my stance on it is defense is definitely a need, but I think the defensive line and linebackers should definitely come before the secondary.
Yeah. I think I kind of agree with you there, Matt. I fully agree with you. I think you got to go. Your first 3 picks have to be QB, wide receiver, edge, or defensive line. After that, maybe center, and then linebacker, maybe corner. Maybe you look at running back if Jahmyr Gibbs is there, and then if you're down in the 5th and you need some people, I think you go and get your second offensive lineman for the future, and you grab Andrew Voorhees, tackle and guard, offensive lineman, USC. I think you grab him.
I remember on Cody Stoots' live stream the other night, I commented that saying, I asked him what his thoughts would be on if we added Voorhees in the later rounds to back up Shaq Mason. And I remember there was one dude, I don't remember his name, so I'm not even going to try to call him out. And that's not the kind of person I am. But he was flaming me for, we need playmakers, and you're over here talking about Shaq Mason's backup, or yada, 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 and I was just like, yes, playmakers are important, but you can worry about that in the earlier rounds. I'm not talking about spending a premier pick on a offensive lineman who tore his ACL in the combine. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is get your playmakers early, and then in the later rounds, invest in the trenches, because just as important as playmakers are, games are won and lost in the trenches.
Yeah, absolutely. I like this idea right here. With your 73rd pick, if we don't have to trade up to grab Weipler at all for whatever reason, I would absolutely love to see us take Demarion Overshown. He's somebody I always am upset that I don't get to draft in mock drafts, but I would absolutely love to see this. I also like the idea of thinking you can get another year or two out of Nelson. I think y'all forget Nelson was CB1 last year when Stingley was held out for the end of the year, and he was pretty dang locked down. So
he was fantastic last year.
I think he'll be even better under D'Amico. So I'm not too worried about that. So kind of to recap on what I think our draft strategy should be, draft plans. I think it should be obviously CJ Stroud. If Bryce isn't there, CJ Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba, your maybe BJ Ojulari with your 33rd, or trade back and try and get somewhere in the 40s and in the 50s. So you have some picks together so you can grab some good stuff. But getting your edge in the second round, get into the 50s, that's about where Weipler's supposed to go. Get Weipler there, Demarion Overshown with another pick, and then after that, I think you just kind of riff and take BPA.
Or if you wanted to go linebackers a little bit earlier, there's two good options I think that could be there the first thing on day 2, and that would be Drew Sanders, Arkansas, and then Jack Campbell out of Iowa.
I think you can get some good. I think in terms of linebackers, we're already in a really good position, right? We've already got a pretty good linebacker room, much better than it was last year.
True.
I think if you have to start Garrett Wallow like we did last year, not saying Garrett Wallow's bad, but if you have to start Garrett Wallow at linebacker, that's not the greatest thing.
Personally, I think we're just missing a really solid Mike.
I agree. Well, that's what Perryman's been brought in for, right?
I forgot about Perryman and Wilson, honestly.
So we got Perryman, we got Harris, we've got who else do we have on that outside?
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. Yeah. Good shot out there. That's kind of what Matt and I have been talking about, grabbing Andrew Voorhees. Also, I secretly want Andrew Voorhees because his last name is Voorhees, and when he shows up to camp, he better show up in a Jason mask. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's kind of move ahead here. Let's talk about potential, right? In terms of potential, in the chat, what do you guys think is the potential for CJ Stroud? Like, where do you think he falls? Yeah, Perryman, Harris, Littleton, Cashman. I think that's pretty good. You still got Wallow on there as well, so that's a pretty good linebacker core. But Matt, what do you think is his potential? Where do you got him at?
For Stroud?
And when I say potential, I want to make this clear before you get started. Not just like top 10 QB, top 5 QB, anything like that. Like, what's his archetype? Where do you think he's like? Who do you compare him to? So on and so forth. What do you think about him?
So before we hopped on live, I compared CJ Stroud to a taller Drew Brees. Doesn't have the, and you can, I don't remember much of because I compared him to pre-shoulder injury, and Jay said, "Oh, he got a cannon." So that shows how little my NFL knowledge is, honestly, because I didn't start watching football seriously until post-shoulder injury Drew Brees, and I knew him for the short to medium range killer, and had the touch, the poise, the accuracy. So I guess for realistic purposes, I will say he's taller post-shoulder injury Drew Brees.
And I think that's pretty good. Drew Brees led the league.
So, how's everyone's night going? More mobile Kirk Cousins. I like that. Let's see here. Pretty good. That's good. Oh, I don't know what to do in this situation. Oh, we are still live and we lost Jay. So if he will be back, I don't know. Oh, what a joy this is. Give me just 1 second here. So, Jay just informed me in the Discord and the general channel, which I'm pretty sure everyone watching is in. He should be back. So, I may try to carry the stream here, hopefully. But I know Jay said he's seen a lot of Steve McNair and Dante Culpepper and CJ Stroud. So, there's that. And then going back to the start of the stream when I said Jay and I should talk about how we have our quarterback options ranked. Personally, I have mine. Bryce Young is 1, Stroud is 2, and then if Trey Lance is a realistic option, I'd probably put him 3 maybe. Probably not, though. I don't know, honestly. But that's an interesting question. If Trey Lance was a realistic option, what would you send San Francisco for Trey Lance? And there's Kelly. Hello, Kelly. Third in the day 3 pick. I like that. Because what the reports have been is 33rd overall. But I just think that's too premium of a pick to give up for a quarterback who has played, 3 games, 4 games? One of them was against us, and he dotted us up, but that's because our defense was really bad. But then, now that I think about it, I think it's the Matt show now. Absolutely. I am the moderate Texan now. Jay who? I'm just gonna pretend like I'm not panicking and I'm roasting like a campfire. But I think, in my opinion, Oh, I can go. Okay. Yes.
Thank God. Sorry
Jay is
about
back.
that,
I can
guys.
stop panicking now. Oh.
My internet went out. I apologize. I am trying to
Yeah.
put my power on the correct setting, which is I'm getting my stuff going. Sorry about that, guys. All right, where was I when I got cut off?
I already mentioned that you have CJ Stroud as Dante Culpepper and Aaron McNair.
Cool. It is the match show now. Yeah. So yeah, internet went out. Thanks, Kelly. That's my wife there. Stroud potential, yeah. So as Matt had said, yeah, I said Dante Culpepper. I think though when he starts, you said something about Schaub. Did you say Schaub for him already too?
No, I didn't mention Schaub
Okay,
yet.
cool.
I was trying not to panic and yeah.
Yeah, you're cool. Thanks for carrying for a bit for me. So I do think that McNabb and Dante Culpepper are two people I think he will aspire to be, and I think that's the high level that he'll be.
McNabb or McNair?
McNair, they're all pretty similar in terms of what they could do.
Okay.
They could escape the pocket, they could throw long balls, they had touch, they were accurate, so on and so forth. I think Dante Culpepper and Steve McNair are pretty good. I think this is a bad floor to go with. I don't think Jared Goff is the right quarterback. I think he's already on par with Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is about, and I'll give you guys a little bit of my what kind of how I think. For me, a step ahead of a quarterback is like 20% better. I think that Jared Goff is about a step and a half better than Davis Mills. And I can see that right now, CJ Stroud is that. He's a step and a half better than Davis Mills. So that's about 30% better, right?
Would you be comfortable calling Davis Mills CJ Stroud's floor?
I would say Jared Goff. No. I think if he got worse, yeah, I could see that. I could see it. If he starts making a lot of mistakes and getting happy feet, yeah, I could see it. But I still think he'll be better than Davis Mills. And this is Davis Mills at his best, which was currently in his rookie season. So I'm saying this not going off of last year. I'm saying this based off of the best football we've seen Davis Mills play. So hold on one second. I'm going to try and go off grid here so that I can power my house so that I'm not dying, because the grid's trying to kill me. Hopefully I don't lose internet again. All right. So I've got about 3.5 hours of backup power for right now. So big thing that I wanted to kind of mention and talk about is with that, I think, like I said, like Donovan McNabb, Steve McNair, Dante Culpepper, those are quarterbacks, that I can definitely see him attaining. And the reason I say this is because those guys were top 10 quarterbacks in their day. And yeah, you're right. At his worst, he still has the ball placement that Davis Mills does not have. But if he gets happy feet, he loses it. We saw that against Wisconsin, where he wildly overthrew a player and got intercepted, 6 games into the season. Shouldn't be happening, right? So keep that in mind, or actually 4 games into the season. Keep that in mind as well. The other thing, I think his potential goes up the more you surround him with familiarity and the more you surround him with simplicity. Familiarity and simplicity. If you can give him those things, Stroud dominates. He becomes your best player easily.
Speaking of which, during the film, I checked Twitter, and JSN was on the Von Miller podcast, and Von brought up the potential of Stroud and Jigba being teammates for the Texans, and Jigba said I would absolutely love it. It would take loads of stress off me, as I'm sure it would him. So, could we be getting the reunion in Houston? I hope so.
Yeah, and the fact that they specifically mentioned Houston is pretty interesting, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
other thing that I would state, like, what do I think, right? My job, like I said, is not really to give you guys what I think, right, and try and persuade you. Is to give you the raw facts based off of what I saw.
Our ideas.
Yeah, our ideas. Based off of what both Matt and I saw, CJ Stroud should definitely be the second pick. Right? That's what I think, at least. He should definitely be the second pick.
Absolutely.
Does that mean that he's better than Bryce Young? No. Not at all. If Bryce Young falls to us because of what we saw in film, which there is a lot of good, and maybe Frank Reich thinks he can take CJ Stroud and go bananas with him. If that's what Carolina decides to do, cool. We'll take Bryce Young and go off with him. But if we have to take CJ Stroud, if that's the second pick, not if we have to, if that's the second pick, if he's still there at number 2, take him. Because I would gladly have Steve McNair. I would gladly have Dante Culpepper. I would gladly have prime Matt Schaub on my team. Gladly. So that's kind of what I think. Before I kind of end it here, does anybody else have any questions? Any other thoughts? Any ideas? Any feedback for us? Sorry again for the power going out. Me not putting it on off grid fast enough. I didn't realize that was going to happen. It wasn't happening for a while. So, anything else you guys got for us? If not, like I always say, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, as always, if there's something you need me to pray for, go ahead and put it in the comments. Put it in the chat here. Email me at themoderatetexan@gmail.com. If you guys are in the Texans Thoughts Discord, the way to get on that is to subscribe to Texans Thoughts on YouTube here, and join that Discord. If you guys are there, go ahead and jump in there and talk to me there. I'm always there, and I'm more than willing to talk and chat with you on Twitter as well.
We got a question here from Texan Shots before we go.
We do. How do we feel about the possibility of someone jumping the Colts for QB3 in the draft? So I think the question really needs to be, who do you think is QB3?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'll let Matt answer that first. Who do you think is QB3?
Well, everyone's board is obviously different because no one's running with the same philosophy. Everyone would be trying to do the same exact thing. So it all really depends on what you're looking for in a quarterback. In my opinion, Anthony Richardson is QB3 because he's got the size, he's got the weight, he's got the arm, he's got the brains. All he's got to do is figure out the accuracy. So could that be something the Texans do it too? I don't know. We'll review that and get back to you on that. But that's just my thoughts. So I think Anthony Richardson is number 3, and Will Levis falling to 4 would be an absolute dream because from what I've seen on Will Levis is Stevie Wonder has better pocket awareness.
Rip.
So like if you're telling me we get to play Will Levis 2 times a year, please, I would love that. Like I would much rather play against Will Levis than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. I think this is also kind of a loaded question. Who's trading up with Arizona to grab AR-15, right? Or who's that, right? So if it's the Titans, right, because you're talking about trading with Arizona here, right? Let's say it's Tennessee, and they have AR-15 as number 3 on their board, or Will Levis. Does it matter, right? Essentially, both of those quarterbacks are sitting for a year. or should sit for a year. If they start those quarterbacks, that's free reign. Like, we get to dominate. So let's say this. If the Titans are the ones that are trading, to get number 3, they're probably going to have to offload Derrick Henry. So does that mean that we get Tennessee that has no Derrick Henry and Will Levis as their starting quarterback? Or AR-15 as their starting quarterback? Because they're not going to start Malik Willis.
If they start Malik Willis, that's just as good.
Yeah, so it's like the Tennessee Titans are in shambles if it's them trading up. And the Colts, if they are left with, Levis or AR-15, do they start them immediately? That's the better position for one of those quarterbacks, but do they start them immediately? Not so sure. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's kind of it depends on who trades up. If it's the Titans, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. They just crippled their future for longer to try and stay relevant in a division where both of those teams are about to be in a rebuild. Horrible rebuild. So yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that's a good bit of information there. I did want to bring up one more thing, I think. And I think, what were we talking about before? I know we talked about the Stroud potential. We talked about the draft plan. There was something else we talked, Bijan. We had talked about drafting Bijan as well. And one of the things that we brought up with that, I think Matt had a good point, is Bijan is kind of multi-talented, right? He's a multifaceted player. He can do good stuff. Good question. Right after I bring it up, there, nice stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I've been watching. I've been kind of listening to Sarge lately. I've been watching some Cowboys guys. I think he ends up in Dallas or in LA, the Chargers. I think that's one of the two spots he ends up with. Dallas is going to need him because Tony Pollard's leg is a mangled mess right now, and he's probably not going to be ready for the top of the season. And they don't have Ezekiel Elliott anymore. So, yeah, they're probably going to draft Bijan, and I think that's their best play. I think they need to get rid of Dak. Also, I think they need a quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to trade up to the one spot to grab Bryce Young. That'd be insane. I think it would shock the world, but it would be crazy. And I think Bijan Robinson is a great pick for him. I also think the Chargers are. I think Eckler is on his last legs in LA, the Chargers, and I think they want to take him. I'm not so sure Philly wants to spend that pick there, honestly. I wonder if they make the trade for Derrick Henry. I don't know. So yeah, I'm just wondering if that happens. We'll see. I think.
Yeah. The way I look at it is, I don't think Philly takes Bijan simply because they have other things that they need to, like. They're gonna win the NFC East again this year. That's not a question. And I think Bijan's not going to make it past 20, but he's not going to go until, I want to say, us. I think the prime position for him to go is from us to whoever's picking at 20.
And in there is the Chargers.
Are the Chargers in there? Okay. So I wasn't sure how.
Yeah,
I know.
I think the Chargers
Dallas
are at
is like
16
24,
or something.
but yeah, I wasn't sure where the Chargers were.
So I think the Chargers are the prime spot for him, and I think Dallas is another prime spot for him. I know Dallas is a little later, but I think they try and make moves to grab him. That's just my thought there. But I think we were talking about Bijan mainly because we were saying how could he fit in with the Texans, especially if you take him instead of JSN. And my thought is Bijan is a running back, right? And I think he'd be great with Stroud. I think he'd be great with Bryce. I think he'd be great in general. I don't think that he would be willing to play the role that what's his face in Deebo Samuel played in San Fran, of kind of doing everything. I don't think he does that. So I think he would want to be the running back, and obviously he's going to want to be running back one. And where does that leave Pierce? Where does that leave, our other guys? So yeah, I like it as well. I don't think it happens, right? Titans fans in tears, losing two of their fans' favorites to Philly. But yeah, I think it would be possible. I think it's something that is a possibility. I think they want to stay. I think they have a chance to win Super Bowl next year. And I think A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry give them really, 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 really good odds to do that. Really good odds. So, any other questions before we log off? Before we jump off for the night and start looking at Levis film? We might even just skip Levis film because an AR-15 film. And I think Stroud is the pick, guys. I think that's who it's going to be, which would go off of what I said back in December. That I said I think it's going to be D'Amico and CJ Stroud leading us into a new era in Houston. I think that's what's going to end up happening next week. That's what we hear. Bijan is a luxury, ideally to the San Francisco rushing attack. Devon A-Chain makes way more sense. Yeah, I think he does. I think you grab a Roshan Johnson even, or a Jahmyr Gibbs,
or maybe even Deuce Vaughn.
Do what?
Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can grab some players later in those rounds. I think Roshan Johnson is a 5th round or 4th round pick. You can grab him and do some damage with both of those guys. So, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is more 2nd and 3rd, but I think you can do some great damage with any of those 3 guys easily. All right. I think we should go ahead and end this, get this episode in the books. Matt, is there anything else you want to say to the people?
It became 1,000,000 degrees in my house when Jay's power cut out.
No need to be nervous, man. You carried well. Thank you, Matt, for carrying while my power went out. Thank you guys for bearing with me when my power went out there. Hopefully this gave you guys some good information regarding CJ Stroud and what he's capable of, and what issues he has, so you can kind of go in not blind. As always, like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be talking with y'all later. I am Jay, the Moderate Texan. That is Money Matt over there. You guys know what it is. We always try and look into the light, look into the darkness, find a little bit of light, and bring everybody right back to the middle. We'll catch you next time. Love you, everybody. Go H-Town. And in 7 days, y'all, draft day.